Colton, why do you have to flex so hard on everybody, like all the time?
Bro, I've been flexing on myself in my own garage for the longest time. And more often than not, I'm just like, I keep to myself. And then I get invited to these events. So I'm like, okay, I've got to go hard for my friends.
Yeah.
So it's the humble way of thinking about things. Like, I'm not coming out here just to like break necks or like take awards or just, it's thinking outside of the box, one, just show like a different approach, like from an artistic point.
I mean, there's so many cool cars here. So we're at Grid Life Lime Rock. This is the first time Grid Life has come here. And this is a very historic event because there's just a little bit of everything, I feel like. And this is honestly a great event for our generation.
It is.
Of car enthusiasts, of car nerds. And holy crap, you brought like a bazooka to a knife fight, dude. Like, this is crazy. It's already crazy enough that you have Evo Pajero. Is that what it's called, an Evo Pajero?
Pajero.
Pajero.
Pajero, yeah.
I've been calling it
it's okay.
Pajero
it's
this
all
whole
good.
time.
It's all good.
Pajero.
Yeah, your stunt double
Okay.
was saying Pajero, and I was like, he's like, how do you say it? And I said, it's Pajero. But it's okay, it's totally cool. Like, this is all, we never got these in the States, so we're allowed to call them like potato. It's good, we're allowed this. We're allowed that one.
So this is already in itself like super rare. And they didn't make that many of these. And I feel like, personally, I've only seen one. And the fact that you have this in this livery, and then I didn't even mention the Tommi Makinen edition Evo 6.5. I didn't even mention that. That just happens to be in the back. Yeah, the TME.
All this happened over COVID. Like, I got the Pajero, and then it was like, this trailer popped up, and then I ran into also a car model with a Pajero towing an Evo. For some weird reason, like Google Analytics had picked up that I had one of these in my possession and that I had searched for a trailer online. So I'm just like looking at my daily feed, and bam, there is like the Pajero in the trailer. And it was already done in like a red with an Evo on the back.
No way.
So I just took it to the net. Like, I had the model, but I had to take it one step further. You just can't be like the model, so.
What is this? What year is this?
This is a 99.
Okay.
So they did them in 90, 98, 99. I believe some of the models trickled over into 2000. It is everything that you would expect it to be. Straight rally, Dakar, out of the box. You can get this thing off the ground, you can go airborne, you can jump with this thing. I've already jumped with this truck. Like, we had a massive snowstorm.
So this is an automatic.
Automatic. So automatic, people are like, oh, you know, the automatic, the stick, the this, the that. When these cars were doing, or as successful as they were back when they were running like the Dakar rally, they preferred automatics because of just the amount of wear and tear it was on the driver to shift through gears. So they built the automatic, so it's a very smart automatic. It knows when to downshift, it knows when there's a constant load. This thing knows when it's pulling a car. So it is bulletproof. I've never had an issue with this transmission, and I've put this little guy through more-ish than I would like to admit, because people see it now and they're like, oh my God, it's beautiful, why would you do that? But I've had this thing like 3 feet off the ground, over snowbanks, and through the deepest, like trying to get it stuck. It will not get stuck. This thing is every bit of what you would expect it to be.
It's so crazy because, I mean, it's one thing to have like a rally-inspired car. You know, we can, for a while, we were able to get Evos, right? They were sold new here. Obviously, the Subarus, and you know, also way back when the Toyotas, you can actually get like a rally-inspired Toyota. But to have a Dakar inspired vehicle, or this was actually homologated for Dakar, right?
Correct. Yes, homologated. So this was like Mitsubishi's answer to the Defenders, to everything else that was coming out of a modification shop that was purpose-built for rally. Mitsubishi would come right out of the box and say, hey, turnkey, you jump in it, go, and you are going to do damage. So yeah, the plate was given to me by a customer of mine, and it's just the name of a dog that I had that passed away. But aside from that, the graphics kit was something I'd picked up from like JDM, Yahoo Auctions.
Wait, this is actually like an old school kit?
Yeah.
Huh. And it being old vinyl, it still like worked? It still applied and everything?
Yeah.
So back then, people would just buy this and put it on their Pajero?
Yes.
What the heck?
Yep. This was very close to actually a team car that they ran with. There were two different versions of this. There was a white, green, and red, and then there was a white with the red, black, and I believe gold combination. So
it's just such a weird car because of the fact that it's two-door.
Yes.
And so there are seats in the back, though.
Yeah, seats in the back, and this is actually a Mitsubishi factory TV. So it would show you, it would have basic layouts, very early GPS, maps, topography, stuff like that. But for the most part, this is a ready to rock and roll. And then I put the board on the top. I found like a 90s 45-degree snowboard rack. And
can we take a look at the engine bay?
So the misconception is a lot of people believe or think that this is a 4G63 or turbo all-wheel drive.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't know anything about this car, you would pretty much guess that right away.
Correct, yep. But in fact, it is just a 3.5 liter V6. But for what it's worth, it was a complete maintenance-free unit. So you just jump in it and you would go. You know, you didn't have to worry about turbos locking up or seizing. It had a lot of dry, hot climate, so sand in the intake. This was like, I think they ran an air box and exhaust system, and it would be ready to go.
It was to be reliable, not really to be
straight
fast.
reliable. Yeah, it's like the tortoise and the hare theory with this.
But like this motor, I feel like also lived on for so long in the
3000
newer Pajeros.
GTs. Yeah. It's like this was based off that same V6. Mitsubishi and Chrysler had then collaborated with on a lot of their like the Dodge Stealth, VR4s. The 3000 GT again was probably one of the more, I want to say the more common unit that we would find its closest brethren in. I've never had any issues. Comes factory with a transmission cooler in the front, which is that of almost like a Greddy quality tranny cooler. Just like on the R33 you're driving.
Yeah.
So, alloy hood, suspension on this thing is beefy. It comes factory with a skid plate on the front, massive tow hooks. Again, I've had this thing off the ground, and when you land, you're like, oh my God, I am going to eat. I need a mouth guard, right? And it lands very soft, like smooth.
It's just crazy to me because there's nothing else like it. What else is there in the era that you can compete against this?
Nothing at all. Nothing that you could go out and just buy without modifying.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist, so. And it actually tows very well. I've never had any issues, knock on wood.
Yeah, so speaking of towing, I don't even know where to begin. Okay, so was this TME this clean when you bought it?
No. Unfortunately, it wasn't as clean, and every car has got its story. The Pajero, for what it's worth, probably has the least amount of story out of everything that I picked up. This Evo, unfortunately, had a fairly shady past. Shady being that the last owner had ran a car dealership out in UK, and this was actually the second Evo that I'd purchased off him, and I only got one. So I bought one, and they sent me all the paperwork, and then was like, oh, by the way, wasn't originally red. So it was just like a shady car dealer out over in the UK. I'm like, okay, well, I see that it wasn't originally red. I want an original passion red car because it's only one of about 200, 250 examples in existence. And he said, oh, well, this car that's repainted is a very perfect example. It's got lower mileage. Why would you want the original passion red car? And I said, because it's a lower production vehicle. It means more.
Plus you wanted the Marlboro, like,
correct,
simple livery on it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh yeah, okay, well, you're gonna have to pay me more for that one. I'm like, so I gotta pay you more for the car that you kind of like suckered me into buying. So
basically, don't be like that guy.
I didn't have, yeah, don't be like that guy. And he was well outside of my jurisdiction. It was over COVID, so I couldn't get on a plane. And yeah, so you're at their whim, you know. Unfortunately, you just have to go along with what they say, whatever storage fees they charge you. I mean, it was definitely dark times, but this car was a mess. I had to sand it and buff it, had to clean it up. I redid all the Tommi, the TME vinyls, the stripes, rally art decals. I ended up finding a ski rack for this thing, which was an original Yakima rack.
So
and
cool.
I had to modify it. I lost it on the highway, unfortunately, right here. I have to get a new cover for it. It came off and it busted the rear wing, so I've got a little carnage over there. But this is the only TME that's, you know, that the owner is crazy enough to throw a rack on. I get a lot of heat from this. Like, people see it even today, and they're like, the Marlboro decals.
Yeah.
You get a lot of that type of crowd, and they're like, you're promoting cancer, you're promoting carcinogens, you're promoting death to our people and everything else. I'm like, please stop it. You get, there's Karens around every corner and every bush.
But it's racing history. People don't really understand that,
racing
right?
history,
So like,
correct.
There's something iconic about this livery and the camo livery,
Very
the
much
colors.
so, yeah.
And part of it is that these companies supported racing.
Correct.
You know, they had the money to support racing.
They paid to have the helicopters and guys like yourself to be hanging out of those helicopters, getting the footage and the videos that if it wasn't for that footage, the industry, the motorsport wouldn't be as significant as it is today, which, you know, trickles down to this being as important as it is.
Jeez, it's just so cool.
Yeah.
How was the motor when
Motor's good. Motor was good. I did a fairly large service to it. A lot of the decals that you see on the car are actually modifications to the car now. Did an FP Red turbocharger on it, Olin suspension. Like, this car is very capable. I got an extra set of wheels and tires. These were the original Rally Art wheels that came on it. And the Blizzaks I threw on the car because obviously what Evo owner owns an Evo and has taken it in the snow. And when I took this thing in the snow, it wasn't nearly as valuable as it is now. Like, I picked this car up for like 35 grand, right? And now it's probably closer to, I want to say 150 to 180. They've already clipped, I think, 190.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do that now, but she's a little bit of a trailer queen. That's not saying I wouldn't take this off the trailer and run some, you know, a couple laps around the track.
That is incredible.
Not trading paint, but like at least give something that everyone could appreciate.
That's kind of what I like about your collection, you know, because there's so many collectors that get these cars, these Halo cars. They don't drive them, they don't use them. You have used them, you've jumped them.
Jumped them. I'm like Blizzaks, jump it, spare. I need a wheel rack. Right. I need.
Your other one, you know, Tony Angelo's Falcon RX-7. That's eventually going to spin tire again.
Of course,
you know?
Right on the back of that trailer. Yeah. Right on the back of the trailer. It's gonna do a burnout with the police car on the back of the trailer while the police car is doing a ripper. So. You guys will see that. It'll be insane. You're the first to know that that's going to happen.
So the next time I see you, hopefully it'll be at your shop. I really want to just check it out. And I love the shoots that you're doing. You're renting warehouses or getting all of these really nice, good texture, just a good overall aura of the places that you're shooting in.
Yes.
It's like JDM cars don't belong in these places, but it's super cool. I love it.
Exactly.
I absolutely love it.
And we've got a few shoots coming up that hopefully, if all goes well, I'll give you a shout for. Maybe we can tail it into a we've got a hangar, we've got an airplane hangar, and it's got some cool old warplanes in it. So we'll just leave it at that.
All right, cool.
You're getting the chills again.
It's like really hot out, but I'm like shivering. I'm like, oh my God, I got goosebumps, you know, because time and time again, people ask me, especially at this event, how is it that I get excited about this stuff still? You know, both of us, giddy as schoolgirls when we're talking about these things,
always,
you know, because it is something that's worth living for, I guess. It's something that's worth striving for and enjoying. It's inspirational, really.
It truly is.
Yeah.
So we were, you know, back in the days, like you mentioned, Best Motoring and Suchiya, and dude, I remember driving like 6 to 10 miles to like the closest Tower Records to pick up either the latest edition of Super Street or the Best Motoring DVDs.
Yeah.
And it was like clockwork. I was there every month, every single volume, episode. And we went down and we'd watch the videos. We'd be like, okay, so this is the modification we're gonna do. This is where we're gonna run the car, because it's the closest thing to like a toge scenario.
Yeah.
We looked up to it. That's why that's how we still have our passion today, I think.
It makes me feel good because it's like we're not unique, you know? The reason why I'm doing this show and the reason why you're able to do what you do is because there's so many other people like us that get excited about these things, you know? So definitely thank you so much. Like I said,
You're very welcome.
Next time, gonna see your place. I can't wait. Just the collection already. Just browsing Colton's Instagram already. I'm like, it's just too much FOMO, man. It's just too much. Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, Larry. Thanks again, buddy.